Welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course, Stylized 3D Models, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so let's come into this part then. Let's press Ctrl A, just making sure I've reset all of my transforms. And then what I'm going to do is just press 1, I'm going to press Tab, I'm going to grab this face, and then I'm going to press I and bring it in. Now we want to be probably a little bit bigger than this frame here because this is a huge window. So just make sure you make it a tiny bit bigger. And then what you're going to do is you're going to press Y just to separate that out. And now we've just got this to work with, and that's exactly what we want because we actually want to make the actual window from this part. All right, so now we've got that part. What I also want to do with this part is I actually want to separate it out. So I want to separate it going from here and here. So I'm just going to press Y. And then when I separate things with a little bit more complexity, once I've separated it, I'll press H to hide it out the way. Now we can see this part is already separated from this, but I would really like to separate these two parts as well. So this part away from this part. So I'm going to press Y. And normally if I had more to do, I would just hide it out the way. Then I'd press Alt H, bring everything back. And now I know, is this one separated? Let's have a look. Yeah, this one. Let's go back and just make sure what I actually did. I didn't grab it from there. And now I'm going to grab it from there. Y, separate it. And then let's press G and there we go. Now we're separated properly. So if I press Alt H now just to see what I did, if I grab this part, you can see this is separated, this is separated, this is separated, and all the parts are actually separated out. So now let's focus on this window part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift and H, hide everything else out of the way, and then what I'm going to do is press 1 on my number pad, making sure I'm looking straight on. And now I'm going to create these actual bars that are going to go down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in to vertex select. I'm going to grab this top vertex. So K, knife, hold the shift button, press the A button to go straight down, enter, like so. And now we want one here, so K again, A, go straight down, like so. And you can see there's an even split between them, so K, grab, A, straight down. All right, so that's looking good. Now I want one going across here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press, instead of doing it that way, I can just actually grab this one, press J, and that will make that nice edge going across here. And now I want one more edge, which is probably going to go from about here. So what I'm going to do is, again, the knife tool, K, A, to make sure it's straight, going across, enter, and there we go. All right, so now we've got that. Now we can actually come in and bevel these parts off. So I'm going to grab this one, Control click, Shift click, Control click, Shift click, Control click, Shift click, Control click, and just keep swapping in between them till you've got this effect. Then what you're going to do is you're going to press Control B and bring them out like so, creating those window frames like this one. And then what we're going to do now is, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be easier at this point to mark my seams before doing anything else. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab it going all the way over there, like so. Right click, mark seam. And then what I'm going to do is the same thing on this one. So Alt Shift click, like so. Right click, mark seam. And now what you want to do is you just want to remove these ones here because of course you want a nice wood grain going this way, and the wood grain doesn't want to get mixed up with this. So we're taking this a little bit further actually on this one, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to right click and where is it? Clear seam. There we go. And you should end up with something like that. Now what we can do is finally we can come in and can press L, 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 and just grab all of these islands like so. And then what I can do is now I can pull it out. So E, let's pull it out like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this part. So just this part. So grab this one. So L. In fact, we can't grab it all the way around. So what I'll do is I'll grab it from here. Control click, Shift click, Control click. And what I want to do is bring it forward a little bit. So I'm going to press E, bring it forward just a tad. Like so, and now you can see that's looking much better. Now the next thing we want to make sure is that this is actually in. So in other words, we just want to make sure all this frame is fitting now. So I'm going to press Alt and H, or go back in, Alt H, and there we go. And of course we need to fix this frame now. So I'm going to come in, L, 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 and L. And then what I'm going to do now is pull this out. So I'm going to press E, pull it out into place like so. And there you go. Now you can see that's looking pretty nice. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is right click and shade auto smooth on here. All right, so now we've got that. Let's just press tab and we can see what we've got here. So I think the next thing to do is we want to bevel all this off. So we've got these split up at the moment. We might as well bevel them all individually. So what I'm going to do is I will come to this one first. I'm going to press Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, add in a modifier, and it's going to be obviously a bevel. Let's turn this bevel all the way down, bring it up one, and just make sure that it's like this one. We don't want it too chunky. You can see that's like that. So 0.003 and just bring it down. That might be a little bit too less. So 0.005. And that's looking about right because it should be a tiny bit more if possible of a bevel. All right, so now we've got that. Let's come to these parts now that I've got here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure, so object, convert to mesh, just to make sure that I've got all of the modifiers on. Control A, all transforms, right click to origins geometry. So we've reset all the transform on them. And then finally, I'm going to shift select this one, Control L, and I'm going to copy modifiers onto here. And there we go. That is what we've got. And that's looking really nice. Now, the one thing that I want to do is I may put a sharp on here. You can see we're losing a little bit of how this actually looks. So I might actually put a sharp on here. And the other thing I might do is I might try and pull this down a little bit, just this edge here. So let's do that first. So we'll come to this one here and we're going to go Alt Shift and click, Alt Shift click on the inside, right click, and we're going to mark a sharp. And there we go. You can see it's looking tons better. Okay, so now let's come to this part here. And then what we can do is we can see if it's going to look there, pulled down a little bit like so. And there we go. And I think actually that's looking better than it was before. And also you might not like this sharp going across here. So what you can do instead is you can grab all of the parts, the edge loop going all the way around, press Control B, and then pull it out, and you'll end up with something like that. Right click, Shade Auto Smooth, and there we go. You might like that better. I actually think I like that better. The one thing I don't like is this. I definitely need some sharps in here. So what I'm going to do is Alt Shift click, working my way down them, like so, right click, mark sharp. And there we go. Now you can see it just looks so much better. Okay, so finally then, we want to join all of this together. So just grab them all, like so. Make sure you've got them all with G, just to make sure. And then what you're going to do is now you're going to come up first, Object, Convert, Mesh, and then Control J, and then finally Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, and now finally right click, Shade Auto Smooth, and there we go. Now if I move this a little bit over, what I want to do is, I just want to make sure you can see we've got a little bit of an edge around there, and that's something I want to fix. So before I do anything, I'm going to go in with edge select and grab all of this part and then just make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just press S and just pull it out a tiny bit, and there we go. You can see the other thing is because we split up these, we've actually got a nice cut in between these, which looks pretty realistic on how a frame is actually put together. So I'm happy with that as well. So now what's left to do is put on some material. So I'm going to grab my material, put that on. So I'm going to click this on. And then what I'm going to do is save out my work so I don't lose it. And I will show you actually before we end this, before we do anything else, how to actually get your work back. So if your Blender does crash, come up to File, go down to where it says Recover. And what you want to do is recover and auto save. And then this huge list will come up of all of these files that you've actually been creating, if you've been busy, that is. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that hidden, where is it? Hidden files, show hidden is actually ticked on. This will just make sure that if there's any of these hidden, what Blender tends to do is it'll save so many out and then it'll hide some of the others. It does that a lot on some systems. So just make sure that's ticked on. And now actually you can actually go through these. I think you can actually, no we can't. I thought you could actually go and look at what the images look like. But never mind, you can see here that, for instance, this was last saved on its own, auto save here, at 10:03. So you can see I've got two Blender files open at the moment, and you can see here they are saved out. So it's really handy. You can also change in the preferences how many times Blender's saving out, or how many save files Blender has on its system and keeps on its system, which of course will take up more storage on your device, but it's generally, if you're newer to Blender, it's really handy to have rather than have to go through, you know, 5 or 10 minutes worth of work, because it's really actually surprising how much work you get done in that time. All right, everyone. So before we finish, all we're going to do is we're going to grab this one, Control L, we're going to link them materials like so. And on the next lesson, what we'll do is we'll get all of this unwrapped. All right, everyone. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.